Hello students, this is Professor Isha Mendireta from LJ College of Engineering and Technology. In today's video, I will be discussing the applications of ultrasonic waves. Today's video, I have tried to cover two basic applications. They are namely sonar and ultrasonic cleaning. So let us just start with the first application, that is sonar. You might have heard the term sonar. It's a common term. It stands for sonar is an acronym which has a full form. The full form of sonar is sound. So SO stands for sound. NA stands for navigation and ranging. So it stands for sound, navigation and ranging, and it works on the principle of echo sounding. What do you mean by echo? Echo means reflected sound. Suppose you are in a huge hall, or you are standing in an open space like a mountain top or a hilltop, and you shout. You might have experienced this, that you hear your name coming back again and again. So distance the sound travels, and whenever there is a medium change, from there the sound comes back. So this is what exactly is an echo. So echo sounding means what time the echo is received. Yeah, after what time the echo is received. So based on the time interval, so timing between the transmitted wave and timing of the reflected wave will tell us what exactly is the distance traveled by the wave. So that is the basic use of, or basic principle how sonar works. So suppose you have a source of sound here. So this is what is shown as a source of sound. The red colored waves show that the sound is being transmitted. Ultrasonic waves have a property that the ultrasonic waves or the ultrasound will come back when there is a change in medium. So suppose this medium is air, or suppose this medium is water, but whenever it encounters the object, there is a change in medium. From there, the sound will come back. So purple colored dotted line indicates the reflected wave. So you know what time interval you have sent the transmitted wave, and what time interval the reflected wave has come back, that can be recorded. So based on this time interval, the distance between the sender and the object can be calculated. Now what is echo sounding? As I said, it's the working principle. It is a system of detection of objects underwater by emitting sound pulses. So sound pulses are emitted from the sender, and by detecting or measuring their return time after they are reflected back. So this is what exactly echo sounding is. Let us move on to the applications, the uses of sonar. Sonar is basically used for underwater communications. It is used in ships and submarines for underwater communication because it is not absorbed by water, and sound easily transmits through water. It is also used to find the depth of seabed. As we know that sea or ocean or water surfaces have land beneath them. So what exactly is the depth of sea? That can be calculated with the help of sonar. Sonar is used in defense because it not only detects but it also destroys underwater mines by the enemy. It is also used by fishermen for finding fish, that makes the fishing easier, and by divers to communicate underwater. You can also navigate under ice with the help of sound waves. So it is used to navigate under ice and also detect icebergs. Sonar was first time made. The purpose was detection of icebergs. So these are some uses I have listed. Next, as mentioned earlier, the principle of sonar, it uses echoes to determine the depth, sea depth, and locating the presence of objects underwater. So it uses echoes either to find out the depth or to locate what objects are present underwater. Working. It consists of a transmitter. The purpose of transmitter, you can say sender. So it will transmit the ultrasonic waves in the liquid, and a detector. What is the role of a detector? The detector will receive the reflected waves, which we call echo. So a transmitter and a detector, both of them are installed in a ship or boat. They are at the bottom surface of ship or boat. The transmitter in the sonar produces and transmits powerful ultrasonic waves. These waves, they travel through the water, and after striking the target or after they encounter the object, they are reflected back. It can be seabed, it can be any other object underwater. The detector then converts these waves. Now, what is the role of a detector? It will receive the ultrasonic waves and it will convert it into electrical signal, which then can be properly interpreted. You can also connect it to a CRO so that you can come to know what time you had sent the pulse and what time the pulse was received. The time interval between transmission and reception of signal is also noted. Let me just tell you that sound waves in this case, that is sound waves which are transmitted by the transmitter, they are not continuous, because continuously if you send ultrasonic waves, you might not know what was the time when the first wave was sent. You cannot know the reflection time if continuously you are sending sound waves. So what is done actually? Pulses of sound waves are transmitted. So first pulse is sent, then the time is recorded when the first pulse is received. This is how the actual readings are taken. Knowing the velocity of waves, suppose we are measuring underwater. So generally the speed of sound in water is 1800 meter per second. So if that velocity is known, and if you know the time which has elapsed, time means time between the transmission and reception, you can find out the distance of the object. So this is the exact construction. So this suppose uh, this is the ship where the bottom surface, you can see that this black colored portion labeled as A is the transducer, the transmitter. The B which I have labeled is the detector, and O is the midpoint between transmitter and receiver. So this will transmit the ultrasonic pulse, and whenever there is seabed, because see the transmitter is directly passing it into the water, and whenever it encounters seabed, the medium changes because it is land and not water. So from here it is going to come back. So this is the reflected ultrasonic pulse, or what we call echo, which comes from the bottom of the sea. So that is received by the detector at B. Getting it? This is the midpoint between transmitter and detector, and C point we have just labeled the bottom of the sea. So according to the diagram, I can say that CO or OC is actually the depth of sea, is actually the depth of the seabed. So this is the distance which the transmitter has transmitted, and this is the distance it has taken to reflect back. The ultrasonic waves sent from point A travel through seawater, and then they get reflected from the bottom of sea. These reflected waves are received at the point B. The time t taken by the ultrasonic waves to travel to the bottom of sea and to get reflected back is noted by CRO. Suppose we say that velocity of the ultrasonic waves is already known, and this velocity v, you know that velocity is equals to distance traveled upon time taken. So we know that according to this diagram, the total distance traveled by the wave is AC, that is by the transmitted wave, and CB, that is by the reflected wave. So we can write V is equals to AC plus CB upon T. But we can say that AC means it is traveling the depth once, and CB means it is traveling the depth again. So I can approximately say that transmitted distance plus reflected distance is almost double the depth. So I can say that AC plus CB is almost 2CO, that is depth of sea. And so we can write V is equals to 2D by T, or we can say the depth of seabed D is equals to V into T upon 2. So this is the formula which is used to find out the depth of seabed. The device which is commonly calibrated and used to determine the depth of seabed, so this entire combination of transmitter receiver is either known as a fathometer or it is known as an echometer. Now let us move on to the second topic, that is ultrasonic cleaning. Ultrasonic cleaning is an application which uses sound waves to clean a particular surface. It can be a metal surface, it can be any surface, it can be any electronic component. So whatever surface needs to be cleaned has to be immersed under water. So this basic diagram shows that suppose this is a tank and this is the surface of cleaning. So this tank has a cleaning fluid filled with it. It can be any aqueous solution or it can be any solvent. At the bottom of the tank, you have a piezoelectric oscillator which will generate high frequency pulses. Now these pulses, they pass on the fluid, and this will actually lead to a process called cavitation. I'll be explaining in some time. That is creation of bubbles, and with the help of these bubble formation, the surface is cleaned. So construction wise, it's a simple tank which is filled up with a liquid. At the base you have a piezoelectric transducer. So these acoustic waves show the ultrasonic waves being transferred. This is the two parallel lines indicate the wafer or substrate which has to be cleaned. And these small dots, can you just see these small dots, blue colored dots? They indicate the removed particles, the dirt. It can be dirt, it can be any third party present on the surface. And these white colored bubbles indicate the cavitation bubbles. These bubbles actually remove these particles from the substrate. So basically, ultrasonic cleaning is the use of sound waves to decontaminate a surface. If any surface has, it can be rust, it can be dust, it can be any other particle deposited on it. So that is what is known as decontaminated surface. You need to remove the decontamination, then this method is used. The part to be cleaned should be completely submerged in water. So suppose I mentioned that these two parallel lines indicate the substrate we need to clean. So it is completely immersed in water. It is completely dipped in the tank. This uses cavitation bubbles which are induced by high frequency sound waves which agitate the liquid. So it's just imagine a situation that you boil water in a utensil. The moment you see that constantly you are giving heat, what happens to the particles of the liquid? They agitate. And how can you see the agitation? You can see in the form of bubbles. Same way, instead of heat, we are using high pressure waves, high frequency pressure waves or high frequency sound waves. So they are going to agitate the liquid. Now this agitation produces high forces on the contaminants. How? Because of the formation of bubbles. So whatever contamination is present on the surface we need to clean, that surface, that contaminants will actually experience high forces. Getting it? So this agitation produces high forces on contaminants, thereby leading to removal of them. It can be used on substrates like metals, plastics, glass, rubber, ceramics. This process also can penetrate the blind holes or cracks in the tank. Suppose there are tanks present in, suppose there are cracks present in the tank, there can be contaminants in the cracks also. So this process can clean the contaminants from those cracks or holes as well. Let us just see what the process of cavitation is. Before that, the construction. So construction, as I just mentioned, a container is taken which is filled with the liquid. This is the object to be cleaned. Transducer is present here. This is what is the cavitation bubbles shown here. So ultrasonic system consists of ultrasonic generator, a tank filled with required cleaning solution. When the ultrasonic transducer is switched on, it generates ultrasonic waves which pass on the liquid. And this ultrasonic waves which are created, they will lead to a process called cavitation. And due to cavitation, the fine particles are pulled into the space, are pulled from the space, releasing them. And that is the reason the contaminated surface is cleared off. To increase the effect of ultrasonic cleaning, we should be using the cleaning medium having a low viscosity, because if higher viscosity fluid is used, then the formation of bubbles would not be accurate. Now let us see what is cavitation. Before I explain you the complete theory part, let me just say that this wave is representing a sound wave wherein you have compression, rarefaction, compression, rarefaction. It is actually, the wave represents a transverse wave, but just assume that this is a combination of compression and rarefaction. So what happens in this case? Whenever, see, this is the size, so continuously waves are being passed, continuously the waves are being passed. So what happens? The bubble is going to increase. It is increasing in size, increasing in size, increasing in size, and boom. So slowly at the rarefactions where the disturbance is less, the bubbles agitate. They increase in size, and then they explode. And this exploding actually removes the contaminants. So cavitation is the formation and collapse of bubbles in liquid irradiated by intense ultrasonic waves. So when subjected to higher pressure, these cavities called bubbles, they collapse and they generate a shock wave. Right? So when high frequency ultrasonic waves are passed into the solution, it produces mechanical vibrations. This violent disturbance creates minute bubbles, and then these bubbles increase in size with continuous time, with continuous ultrasonic waves, and suddenly they collapse. And this collapse removes the contaminated surfaces. Advantages of this method: it's a pollution free environment, it gives a pollution free environment, low cost, it gives enhanced speed for cleaning, and the cleaning is consistent and of high quality. The applications: it is used even for mixing. It is used in emulsification of immiscible liquids, that is mixing of liquids like oil and water to kill microorganisms in the liquid. Now electronics, if you see, it is used to clean semiconductor components, PCBs, surgical instruments, camera lenses, etc. So this was all about the topic. We'll be discussing applications, the other applications in the coming videos. Thank you.